Hello, everybody. GL1 here, and a couple of weeks ago, I did a show on how the world needs more Dave Bautista because of all the action figures. Well, it might also need more Arnold Schwarzenegger. So here's my Arnold Schwarzenegger action figure collection, and yes, it's mostly Terminators, but I am limiting it to Arnold Schwarzenegger looking Terminators, not all the Terminator toys like the ones with the skin off, because like this is what, right, a Terminator looks like without all the fleshy meat, right? Well, all right, so I'm going to start over here with the Kenner line of Terminator toys, and they're about 31 years old. They started, really Terminator 2 is when they started to get, popular, and the movie did so well. They're like, hey, let's make some toys. So I remember that the first one I bought was this guy here. And it came with this big gun, robotic gun for an arm. And, of course, half his face is torn off. But what's great about this is that the arm comes off. So if you don't like a Terminator that you've never seen before, and this missile does fire, it has a trigger on it. And let's see where that trigger. Been a while since I played with. Oh, and there it goes. Yeah, it's right there. So that fires off there. But if you don't like this arm, you can take this off, which is a feature I really liked, because I liked just a regular looking arm on my Terminator. And then so you have a regular arm, of course all the flesh is torn off, and then he has a weapon that's built in, all right, and he can do that. And if you don't like that arm, it even came with like a grabber arm. So you could switch that in there, and now he's got like a big pincher arm. So I thought that was a really cool figure. And I usually kept the big robot arm on it. You'll see behind it a updated version of that, and I'll go into that later. All right, so, all right. Probably the next one that I got was this one here. And I liked this one because it didn't have any wounds on it. Just was Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator. And this really was just the technology at the time. No lateral motion in the shoulders, no elbows or knees or hip lateral motion. But, it made for a pretty good figure. It's pretty ripped. And it, 1992. It has an interesting mechanism on how it works. So it has the big minigun in his hand. Now, sometimes this thing works unpredictably. So you move this over to the side, and then this is the face is supposed to open up. And see, it's already not really behaving right. If I can get that to open. Look, no, I guess I'm not. There we go. All right, so that would open, and then you would have a Terminator face, and then the shoulders pads would come off, and that would be a weapon. You see the spring down in there? The problem is, okay, the way it was supposed to work is you're supposed to be able to pull the trigger, it would go flop down, and then you would move the trigger the other way, and then the shoulders would launch off. But a lot of times it would just go down and immediately launch the shoulders. So that was a bit annoying. But I mainly just liked it, you see, and then they pop out of the spring all the time anyway. But, overall, all right, see, I can't even get it to stay down. I just like the way it looked like Arnold, right? And then you have your little bumps in here, and then that you could see that pegs into there. You have your pegs to peg into his hand. Because, the plastic now on action figures, either it's got a nice rubbery hand that can fit around the gun or the weapon, or it has even sometimes a joint that will move, although that's usually just on robots nowadays. Toy Biz, though, would make a lot of their Marvel action figures with that. Or it's just a plastic that's so hard, it's really difficult to get to fit into the hand. But once it's in the hand, it's really in there. So another couple figures I bought around that time are these two. Now, this one here, I like the head. I didn't like all the stomach all being torn out, but all right, it's a Terminator, you know. And look, he's got a UPC symbol and a symbol on his UPC's on his arm, and then a registration number. And the way that he would work is you would pull his legs together, and then his arm would come up like he's firing a gun. And then here's another. This has got a grabber arm, another spring-loaded, and then you'd pull that back, and then that would launch off. So a lot of the toys from the 90s were spring-loaded. Always bothered me that his bicep was like decimated there, like he tore his bicep. As a bodybuilder, I always see things that are out of proportion, and that always bothered me. But overall, I liked the figure. The other figure that I didn't like the way it looked so much, but the function is, I really appreciate it now. It's really clever, is this Kenner Terminator. So, all right, so you have this bazooka weapon here. Now, this is non-firing, okay, but he can hold that in his hand. And then what you would do is it had a button here, and you would push that. Let's see if it's going to work. You'd push that. That would release. This is spring-loaded, and then that would pop up in place. So the idea is, let's see if we can get this to act right. Well, okay, my finger hit that. Yeah, you really got to play in a big space with this. So the idea is, okay, that you lower that. Oh, you know what? I think I got it. Pull that down, and there, that springs up. And now he's got a shoulder-mounted bazooka. So that's a really neat trigger system, right? That the whole center of the body moves, and now you have a bazooka up there, and he can put his other hand on there, and this is a firing weapon, right? And he's ready to fire. And it'll fire this other missile, too, if you'd want. So I think that's just really unique and clever. You don't see toys like that nowadays. All right. So those are our 92 Terminators, except one last one that I bought way later. I found at a used store was this Terminator, Future War Terminator 2. So rapid repair Terminator. And you can see the plastic has yellowed from ultraviolet. And it gives you a good smattering of all the Terminator action figures. Not all of them, but a bunch of them that were out then. And I do have some others, like I said, that that are not Arnold looking, so they're not on this show. But the rapid repair one's cool because, all right, so you have a Terminator like this, right? Just kind of a jacked looking Terminator dude. And if you don't like his head being all torn up, then you can put on just a pretty good mold of an Arnold head. So there's that. And then you can also swap out the arms. If you want an arm that's, you know, got all the flesh torn off, you can do that. And then, you know, he's got a gun, comes with a gun, and he also comes with, here's his repair tools. So, you know, you need sometimes a big monkey wrench to maybe fix a hip on a Terminator. You know, he's always limping in the movies. And then this like pincher type of fix-it tool, right? Maybe to put a head back on or something like that. So anyway, he's a pretty cool Terminator toy. So, all right, so that is Terminators from the 90s. And now what we also have, oh, wait, there's the big one, the Ultimate Terminator, which is the big talking Terminator. All right, so here, we got this guy here, and he comes with this big minigun in his hand, all right? And he's got sunglasses that will lift up, and his eyes light up. And he's got buttons on the back. There's 5 buttons on the back. So here they are arranged there. And you can push the center button, and it just makes his eyes glow. And then good reproduction. And, you know, this is over 30 years old.
I'll be back.
And then here's some gun sounds. That's a shotgun. And then the machine gun, right? So the minigun. So there's your Ultimate Terminator. No moving legs. Just a little bit of the moving arms. Right? Torn off hand. Remember, he was showing his Dyson, the hand, like, hey, look, yeah, I'm actually really a Terminator. And it's a soft plastic, which is pretty good. And but he drops his minigun all the time, so that's annoying. But now with those clear rubber bands, I can band that into his hand, and it even spins. So that's pretty cool. A little bit of a more realism there. All right. Well, also we have the Last Action Hero. So there's a Last Action Hero Arnold toy, and I don't have a lot having to do with this. This is pretty much the only guy. So, there he is, got big lats, and there's his outfit. And, this I got at a secondhand store, so I don't have all the parts to it. I do have the bad guy from The Last Action Hero in the box, but he doesn't make it on this show. And then, years ago at a secondhand store, I found this, and I'm like, oh man, some kid drew all over it, but looks like Commando. Well, as it turns out, he didn't draw all over it. That's how it looks. A lot of detail on those back muscles, Maybe Arnold was like, they've got to give me more back muscles, a little bit more detail. And yeah, I've got that bump here on my spine, up between my shoulder blades. And the good thing you captured that. And then make my quads bigger, because they always complained that one of the weak points on me was my quads, but maybe if you see it on the action figure, they'll realize that my quads are actually one of my strong parts. Maybe that's what he said. So here it is in the package, and you can see that it is drawn on, just like the secondhand store one. So this is from 1985, and in the package like this, can go for as high as $350. So, yep, when I was looking that up, that's what I found out about that. So, and you can see that movie on Tubi right now. All right, so getting back, actually, no, we have Predator. So we have some Predator Arnolds, and those are from Mega Bloks. So we have couple of Predator Arnolds here, one with the bow, right? And actually a real rubber band in the bow. See that? It's actually real rubber there. And the arrow actually can come off and be shot. Let me show you that. So you can take that. It's crazy, right? You can take this, and you see it has a little cup here, and you can cup that around the rubber band and pull that back, and you can actually fire it. I don't want to fire it. I'm going to drop it anyway. Okay, but let me get that. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so the nice thing about it is it snaps in here, so you can try not to lose it, and maybe you can put the band around it. Because these are things you lose them. That's so easy to lose. All right, so then also I have. This is like what the Predator would see in Predator. So when he's looking at Arnold, he's just seeing his infrared outline. Right? There you go. Infrared viewed Arnold. All right. And, all right, now we're going to go to the NECA, the really finely made Terminator figures. And a lot of them will come with extra parts. So this is Terminator 1, right? The first Terminator movie. And this is the one where he's like, give me your clothes, right? And he walks up to those guys and you recognize the outfit. Look, you can actually move the jacket aside. And they're like, nothing clean, wash day tomorrow. So, it's nice. The way this works is, you see, instead of the head turning on the neck is integrated into the torso, and it turns from there, and it gives it a different quality of motion. In some ways more realistic, certainly no seam. So that's cool. And then you have, the jacket. You have a little bit, you don't have a lot of motion in the arms, but what you do get is you get a really good looking model that does have some articulation, pretty good leg articulation. I mean, it's just a nice action figure, and he's got a 45 long slide with laser sighting, and you can change his hand, so you can give him a fist, like when he's punching through the windshield. So, all right, so that is the original Arnold, and I like it because there's no battle damage or anything. But you can get, it came with damaged parts. So here it comes with the head. Wait a minute, yeah, with the bloody eye, right? And it comes with the tweezer, the suture tool where he's working on his arm, right? So there's that. And all right, move over here. And then we have some Terminator 2 Arnold's. Okay, again, now you can see more detail. And he's got, it's pretty sophisticated grenade launcher, weapon, machine gun. And got the grenades, and look, one of them is missing. You can see the bullet holes in the figure. And again, just good articulation, really, for something that is rather seamless. You don't really see the knees. Not excellent articulation, but you have to make a decision. If you give it too much articulation, then you're going to have a lot of seams. So, they went for, all right, limited amount of articulation and just have it look more like a model, which I think is just great, more like a statue. So look, you can turn the body and it looks, the wrinkling of the clothing. You can see that, and the head moves all around. And, so. And then the bullets in the back and the jacket. Right? And then the details on the boots and everything. So just a great figure. But I think this actually was the second one. So yeah, I think this was actually the second Terminator 2 figure that came out. Or actually, I think it came out way later. Because it has the better articulation. Now, I may make a mistake on which parts go to some of the figures. Apologize for that, because what I do is I just take all of them and put them in one place, and I might not remember everything. And I think I have the arm there's an arm that has the cut in it where he's repairing himself, and I probably left that in the box somewhere and put the box away because I didn't want to lose the box. But I don't like my action figures to really be wounded, so sometimes I'll have so this is the same figure basically as that one, and this one came out first and it's all damaged, and then this one's not, so I like that one better. Although this does look really cool, right? And he's got the rotary grenade launcher, and again, little grenades missing, and then he's got the machine gun, right? But what's cool is he's got extended clip and he's got another clip taped to it. I mean, what detail, right? Downside is the legs don't move at all, right? There's no hips, and he does have articulation in the waist and the arms move, but they're like, well, you don't really need to move the legs, the hips or anything. But we'll just have it so that you can position the feet, which is, in general, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just fine. All right, and then here I have Terminator Genesis Arnold, right? And you could see now he's graying a little bit. He's got some gray in the beard, and but it's just kind of a kinder, gentler Terminator. And it's got a nicely made shotgun there, and got a 40. It looks like a 45, I think, again, and good articulation. Look at those modern boots with treads on the bottom, and they all come with the foot pegs so that you can stick them on, a little base. The McFarlane bases fit. I think it's called it's a 5mm peg. It seems to fit for most action figures. And then here's some other weapons that came with some of them. I don't know. I think that's an M16. So, and here's some different heads, right? So this is older Arnold head without the sunglasses, and the head goes on different. It doesn't attach from the neck, whereas if you look at these, you see it's all integrated into one piece on the neck. And then here, so this head goes to this Terminator here, so you could again, you can have that one not wounded. What I like about it is the sunglasses on this one are really big, and they're not as big on this. But he did wear oversized sunglasses in one of the movies. I think because those are sunglasses he took from the guy in the bar, actually. All right, and then here you go, just sourpuss looking Arnold face, right? And all right, now let me explain what happened here because it's kind of an interesting story. So what happened is I was really excited to get. Could use some of those bases, huh? The Arnold that had the robot arm and a regular arm. Okay, so what happened is I ordered one, and this is they were just trying to make a high quality version of the Kenner robot arm. So this one actually moves. You can see, moves like that, and then you can turn and twist this. And instead of having it where you have a separate arm like this, where like it had the grabber arm, right? And then you can put this one on. What they did is they made it so that you can pull that off and then just stick that on. And so now he has a rocket arm there. Well, the other arm was a regular, just flesh arm, all right? But what happened is I didn't do what I should have done. Is the action figure came, in the mail, and it was cold. The plastic was cold, and I went to go move it, and the plastic snapped. So the elbow snapped. So I went and I reattached. I took an arm and I made an arm as best I could that would fit on there. But what always bothered me was that in order to make it, I had to take a forearm that was from the other side and stick it on. And it's incorrect, okay? That it's not the forearm, it's actually backwards. So I waited and I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to live with that. But eventually they came out with it again, and it went on clearance. So I purchased another one, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I want an Arnold that doesn't have the jacket on because it's all shot up and doesn't have wounds. And then I'll take the good arm from one and the good arm from the other and put them on. So I have just a guy, right? A good Arnold figure without any wounds. And I'll take that second robot arm and I'll just make a dual robot arm Arnold. And that's what I did. So very happy about that. Well, moving on. So those are all my Terminators, but I also have Predator Arnolds. So here's a couple Predator Arnolds, and as you can see, they're different. The faces are very similar, right? But the bodies are different. I mean, this one doesn't have a jacket on, right? He's shirtless, and then the coloring on the legs is also. This is a brighter green, right? The camouflage, and this is duskier. But lots of weapons. You have, a 45 that pulls out here. So that actually you can pull that out. I guess it's a 40. Maybe it's not a 45. I don't know what it is. And let's see. And then, I think this is some kind of grenade launching gun. And then you have, I believe, an M16 here. And then you have a removable knife. So that pulls out, right? It's not a Rambo knife. And it's got good articulation. You have that waist articulation and hip rotation and waist rotation. And, the knees are not double knees, but they maintain a good look, so they look like solid pants all the time. They can rotate, and then the boots are all, got some dirt on them and everything, good lat muscles, back muscles in general. And the arms, those are definitely the size of like 1985, 87 inch arm size for Arnold. He wasn't at his biggest like he was in 1974, but still in great shape. I mean, you don't It's hard to maintain that kind of shape, and steroids. Later in life, you don't really want to do that. So here's another Arnold, and good proportions. So, all right. And then last is Arnold Schwarzenegger Mega Blocks, just like these other Mega Blocks Predator figures. Here's your Mega Blocks Terminator that you could purchase separately. And it really is an action figure, right? Because you can move the head all around. You can move the shoulders all around. It has an elbow on this side, and then this one, it turns. Actually, it also, no, it doesn't bend, but it rotates. Yeah. And then you have full, hip and knee articulation. So really, it's just quite a great action figure. And then you have a shotgun. So, this is the same size as all the He-Man, Mega He-Man figures. So you can, God of War, Hellboy, there's a whole bunch of action figures. And even when Mega had the contract for Marvel figures, they're all this same articulation and scale. And I have shown some of those on various shows. But all right, well, there you go. The world could use more Arnold, because, the Arnold figure that I would like to see them make is a WWE Arnold figure, because he'd been on WWE a couple of times promoting his movies. One time he punched out Triple H. So it would be great to just have a WWE quality and scale Arnold Schwarzenegger action figure, right? Why not? He's in their Celebrity Hall of Fame, so they certainly could justify making an action figure. All right, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.